So, starting with Karen and Kristina, I just want to ask you guys, about your first experience traveling as OTs in the US. What was that like? How old were Karen and Kristina at that time? What stage in life were you in? The thoughts going through your head. I think painting a picture of something that is very common for Canadian therapists will be very helpful. So, tell us a little bit about your first experiences.
Yeah, sure. I'll start with that one because I remember my first day working very clearly. I was 25 and I was super excited to move to California. Wasn't really thinking about the job, honestly. I was like, I can figure it out. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be fine. It was really easy at that time to get an OT job. Um, but I was really nervous because I didn't know any OTs at that facility. I had only talked to the director one time. I didn't know any staff. I was really kind of worried what would the staff dynamics be like? Were they going to accept a Canadian? And it was a skilled nursing facility and I walked in my first day and someone looked at me and was like, "Are you the new OT? Like, thank God we really need you here." They handed me my schedule and told me I had 14 patients. So that was I
Was that the
just
most you've ever had? I mean, that had
that's
to have
pretty,
doubled or
yeah,
tripled?
that was the most I had. I kind of froze in the moment during the headlights and I said, okay, who's my first patient?" I
One at a
just
time.
I
There you
just went
go.
with that. Yeah. And honestly, that facility, I made a lot of really good long-term friends there. It ended up working out really well. The setting was in a gym where I could just watch all the other OTs and see what they were doing and just kind of
Hmm.
through osmosis.
That's amazing.
That's really cool.
Yeah, no, I definitely learned a lot by watching other therapists do interventions with patients, and that was actually one of the best parts of the first assignment in skilled nursing. Even though there's other settings that are sometimes better, but I think in skilled nursing for a new grad, I think that's actually a really good one. I could say to start with. I was a new grad, and I didn't feel like I had a lot of experience after graduating, and I just heard about travel therapy and I absolutely loved the idea that I could go travel to see different places, gain experience in our field, and get paid really well for it. That's amazing
Hmm.
opportunity that not many people can get, I feel like. And so it was nerve-wracking because I didn't get to live by myself too many times in my life, and going to the US by myself for the first time and then learning that whole healthcare system, it was definitely a big learning curve. I was thankful that my skilled nursing facility didn't give me 14 patients on the first day, thank goodness. Uh,
Try. They gave you
um,
13
it,
instead?
yeah, just 13. They actually had a mentor that was willing to teach me if I had any questions and what. So I was very thankful of that.
How about you, Christine? Did you have a mentor at that first assignment?
Not officially, but I
Uh-huh.
kind of latched on to a buddy who was another
Sure.
OT, and she was super supportive. And so any question I had, I just would say, "How do we do this? How do we do this? How do we do this?" And once I stopped asking questions, she just kept coming back to me with more information, like, "Oh, you should know this. You should know this." So not officially assigned, but if there's one helpful person in whatever facility that anyone decides to work in, it's gold.
How important would you guys say having a mentor is in those first couple of assignments while you're still getting your feet wet?
Super
110%
important.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Karen, you mentioned that travel was something that was right after graduation. So, did both of you guys do a staff position before going into travel and a step further going into travel into the US, or did you guys do any sort of progression before taking that plunge?
I went straight to travel therapy. I never did any actual employment as an OT in Canada before going to the US.
Yeah, Karen was very brave. I knew California, but I was setting my sights on a permanent job. And then after I kind of got my feet wet for 7 months, like the idea of travel therapy always really appealed to me. I was like, what do you mean I can actually switch jobs every 3 months or stay? I love having variety in my career, which is probably why I chose OT. So 7 months later, I decided to still travel around California, but I wanted to just see what else was out there in terms of facilities and the dynamics of a team and how OT is just all across the board.